glossy sales brochure, not at all. It feels much more specific, more intriguing, almost like a rare glimpse into Porsche's factory-level sports modifications for a truly iconic car. So our mission today is to really unearth the details of this highly specialized, performance-focused Porsche 911 from, a really pivotal era in motorsport. It's like finding a secret blueprint. Okay, let's unpack this.
What's fascinating here is the timing. 1970. This was a period of just ferocious innovation, really intense competition in sports car racing, especially for, private teams. And this document, it's not just about selling cars. The title says it all. Sales information for optimized sports consultation. That phrase, it tells you this was aimed at a very, very specific group. Serious competitors looking for a direct line right from the factory to get bespoke performance mods. It really suggests Porsche was actively working with people who wanted to push the absolute limits on track.
Absolutely. And that sense of purpose-built intensity, it just jumps off the page when you start breaking down the specifics of this 911 ST, the sport version. It dives straight into the engine, the motor.
We're talking
2.2-liter displacement, okay, but not just any 2.2-liter. This was, highly specialized. You've got custom pistons and cylinders, unique camshafts, special connecting rods, a significantly lightened flywheel. Serious stuff. And the result, an incredible 230 horsepower for 1970. That's wow. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah, just pause on that number for a second. 230 horsepower from a 2.2-liter naturally aspirated engine back then. That wasn't just significant for a 911. It was, right at the edge of what people thought was possible for that size engine. Think about it. Many bigger engines weren't making that kind of power. So this clearly wasn't about, just tweaking it for the street. This screams hardcore racing prep. It says so much about Porsche's engineering focus. They were willing to push these smaller engines to the absolute limit, basically fighting above their weight class on the track. Every single special part listed there points to bespoke high-performance engineering, built for power, built for endurance under race conditions.
Okay, so with that kind of, frankly, boundary-pushing power, how do they make sure it got to the ground effectively, especially under race stress? The document then shifts, quite logically, to the transmission, the Getriebe. And this is where the flexibility for racing really shows. It says, all previous racing transmissions are available. Okay? But then it highlights the option for a selectable gearbox for every gear Jader gang, plus additional specific gear ratios, and naturally a limited slip differential. Essential.
Oh, absolutely essential. For a serious racer, that level of transmission choice was a huge strategic advantage, a game changer. Imagine you could fine-tune your gearbox ratios for, say, the tight corners of Monaco one weekend.
Right.
And then completely change it up for the long straights at Le Mans the next.
Total adaptability. Exactly. It let teams tailor the car's acceleration, its top speed, its power band, really, for any track, any condition, and the limited slip. Critical, not just fancy tech. It's about managing power to the wheels, especially hard cornering or accelerating out of turns, maximum grip, maximum speed, making every one of those 230 horses count.
Makes sense. And to handle all that power, plus the sheer relentless stress of the track, the chassis must have been seriously beefed up. The document confirms it. Under chassis, or FAR work, it details how this ST was fundamentally strengthened. It lists various stabilizers, front and rear, heavily reinforced wheel suspension, both ends, and spectral shock absorbers, front and rear too. And what's really telling is the specific mention that these parts meet the requirements for Group 2 and Group 4 homologation, plus reinforced brakes, front and rear, and underbody protection. They weren't messing about.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, these chassis mods aren't just about stiffness. They're about control, durability, safety. Vital when you're running at race speeds for hours. Reinforced suspension, better brakes. Those are non-negotiable for track performance. Prevent failures, ensure predictable handling lap after lap. And that mention of Group 2 and Group 4, that's huge. Homologation, it's the official process, the rule book, that says your car is legal for a specific racing class. Group 2, more modified touring cars. Group 4, sports cars, often closer to production specs. So that detail, it tells you Porsche built this thing specifically with those often very strict competition rules in mind. Ready for the big leagues.
Yeah.
Engineered for battle.
Yeah, it's crystal clear this is no tuned-up road car. It's a pure competition machine. The document lists accessories, Zubehör, that just reinforce that single-minded focus. The expected stuff, a roll bar, those classic bucket seats, a smaller steering wheel, standard race car kit. But then a couple of interesting details. An expanded 110-liter fuel tank, much bigger than standard, and something listed as a passenger interior light. Seems a bit odd.
Well, those accessories, they just underline the whole philosophy. Function over form, everything for performance and safety. Roll bar, seats, wheel that's driver safety, control, less weight, a stripped-down, purposeful cockpit. But that 110-liter fuel tank, that's a huge clue. It screams endurance racing.
Longer stints between pits.
Exactly. Think Daytona 24 hours, Nürburgring 1,000 kilometers. Fewer stops saves crucial time, a massive advantage in those long races. And the passenger interior light?
Yeah.
Sounds funny, right? But probably for a navigator or co-driver.
Oh, for reading notes or maps.
Yeah, especially during night racing, or even just for mechanics working in a dark pit garage. So definitely not for checking makeup.
Huh. Right. You know, it's amazing how every single detail, even tiny ones, had a clear purpose. But here's where we hit a really fascinating point about how these cars were actually made. This genuinely surprised me. The document has this crucial warning right under attention. It explicitly says these modifications are not possible during normal production. Instead, they must be done by hand in the Reparaturabteilung, the repair department of Porsche KG, not the main assembly line.
This raises an important question about how Porsche actually operated back then, their whole structure. It tells us the 911 ST wasn't just rolling off the line like other 911s. It was effectively a bespoke hand-built car, a kind of factory works car you could actually buy. The fact it came out of the repair department is